so that
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, how's everything going? Your
Good,
health
good.
strong?
Yeah, it's
That's
getting better every day. Every day it's stronger and
that's
stronger.
love.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Our prayers are like sickness will not use our body as a home.
Mm-hmm.
That Ori will exonerate us.
Oh.
Ogbe Oyeku said we will live long as Edun. Edun is the brass that is used
Yeah.
at at the home of the Ogboni cult, and it is the the method of the mother. The mothers will be around forever. Edom will be around for eternity. As gold will always be, so is silver, so is brass.
That's it.
Silver can die by changing color, but the gold will never change color. Brass will never change its color.
Oh, I say.
It is the Odu that reveals to us how the precious metal came to us. Those are part of the things we do. How what Ogbonyeku stands for as a young, the sibling, the children of Ogbemeji and Oyeku. When Ogbe married Oyeku, they had children, and one of their children is Oyeku Ogbe, Ogbe Oyeku. Sorry, Oyeku Ogbe is also their sibling. Ogbe is the father, Oyeku is the mother. When we see Oyeku, Ogbe also, we know Oyeku gave birth to Ogbe. Oyeku married Ogbe and gave birth to Oyeku Ogbe. When Ogbe married Oyeku, he gave birth to Ogbe Oyeku. When Oyeku married Ogbe, we see Oyeku leaving Ogbe. See, anybody else has joined us?
Yeah.
Abubuye, Baba.
Aboyebo, she said, how are you?
I'm well. Go to
I pray that our ears will always hear good news.
Ashe.
Because good news, goodness and negativity is how Eledumare created the earth. He made all things in two, created all things in two. That's the duality of the universe. We see the day, we see the night. We see up and we see down. We see hot, we see cold. We see right and left. We see up and down. North and south, east and west. So in the essence of that, because we are starting on the duality, before we have been in double, twos of one. Now we are in the duality of right and left, opposite and male and female, father and mother. So I pray blessings will always come. That the wisdom that we are gaining from following the path of Orunmila, following the fast wisdom through Orunmila, those wisdom, I pray that we'll be able to apply them in our life. They will be the first thing that comes into our mind when we are faced with difficulties, or when we are faced with things that are more like a challenge, so that we have the means to solve anything that will ever affect us. I pray blessings will continue to be.
Ashe, Baba.
I continue to pray also that negativity that is affecting the world, affecting the earth, will not be our share. We will not share any, because Ifa himself said, when innocent people and when positive people and okay, let me rephrase it. When negative people and people that are bad, or people that are being compensated for their doings on earth, when they are receiving their punishment, it's always, most quite often, innocent people are in there too. I pray that we will not be involved at the time, that Eledumare will see us good, see the goodness in us, and exempt us when these negativities are happening.
I say.
And our destiny will not choose bad, negative things that pulls the world, pulls the people of the world back. Our topic, we're starting on the Amulu. We call them Amulu. Amulu, which means the mixtures of the Odu. Amulu of the Odu. The beginning of them, the first Odu in the Amulu is Ogbe Oyeku. And Ogbe Oyeku, as I said, is a child of Ogbe Meji and Oyeku Meji. Ogbe Oyeku is the oldest of all the Amulu. Hence, as Ifa has related who Ogbe Oyeku is to us, that Ogbe Oyeku is older, and it will be the oldest of all things. Anybody that will cast Ogbe Oyeku for will know, we say such a person will, or a person who casts this in the forest of Odu, we will say such a person will live a long time, because it's the same Odu that cast for Edom. Edom is the staff that sits inside each Iledi. Iledi is the home. Remember in Ofumeji, Oni and Ogbo are of the same parents, and they are always like dog and cat to each other, always on each other's back, fighting, destroying, and doing negative things. But through the words of Orunmila, we found out how they were made to be friends, and they were made to not hurt each other. And that happened through a pact, which means swearing, where we swear that we are not going to fight anymore. I'm not going to hurt you anymore. You're not going to hurt me anymore. We are going to live our life of peace. And it becomes a covenant. It is the same Edom that was used to make that covenant. It came from the Odu, Ogbe Oyeku. Is the Odu that came for Edom, which was the same two items to represent that covenant. When Edom was coming from the spirit world, he went to choose destiny, and the destiny that he chose says he's going to believe for a long, long time, and it becomes the tool that is used to actually make sure nothing dies. The same covenant will always be there in the Ogboni house, in every Iledi. It is the tool that is used for the Ogboni fraternity. The Awo that divine for him is the name of the Awo is called Ogbe Oyeku Baba Amulu, the father of the mixture of the Odi. Ori Ogbo, Ori Ato, Ori, which is head that lives long, a head that survives all negativity. And that our name also says for a person not to be greedy. That would be a person that will cast out will say, do not run after money. So you have to be wealthy, you have to be rich. If you don't do this, because such a person will still be rich. They might not be rich early in their life, but they will get prosperity in their middle age. And if they can really persevere, that's why it is to persevere. If a person can persevere, they will surely come into wealth before they die, and they will live a long time to enjoy it. if they don't. That is what Ogboyeku is. When we cast Ogboyeku, we will first tell a person, do not rush after wealth. You will surely be wealthy. Ogboyeku also is the one that divines for, according to Osamaru, is the one that divines for Obalufon. Obalufon is a deity, also one of the kings in Ife. Obalufon is it. When he was coming to earth, he went for divination, and we see the Odu that came was Ogboyeku. And Obalufon was told to make offerings of ash, a hoe, and all metal objects. He did, and he gave birth to gold, silver, brass. That is why when you look at most of the carvings, if you search online, search Obalufon, and the carvings or mold of Obalufon, the picture, you will see in brass. In the Nok civilization, of which Yoruba heritage originates, we will see that most of their molds are made with they started with clay and then they went into brass. In Yoruba heritage, we say brass live a long time. Even if silver gets stained and changes color, then we say silver can die, but it never really dies. It just changes shape. And once you polish it again, it becomes gold, doesn't need polishing. Brass does not need polishing, just continuous shine. It also makes divination for the tiger. When Tiger was coming from heaven, he was told to make an offering, and he refused to make offering. He was told to make an offering, and he did. He did not make the offering. When he came to earth, he was at one point in time he was starving to death. He was starving to death because the Odu tells us, not even Ogboyeku told us that. A Kameji told us how the tiger, every time a tiger or any of the cats kill an animal, they must not step over it with their hands. Anytime they
I think he's lost. Hello.
No, I'm back.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Somebody
can.
was trying to call him. Somebody was trying to call him, which is good. Now we are on about the Odu that Ogboyeku that came for the tiger. When the tiger friend, when he went to the diviners and the diviners told him he had to make an offering of monkey meat, the tiger thought, oh, my friend is a monkey, but he's always so far from me when we deal or when we have dialogue. How will I offer monkey? So he thought, okay, let me feign that I'm dead So everybody, when his family were all mourning and he was laying in rest, so all people can come and pay last respect to him. When the monkey came now, the monkey thought to himself, it would be, I know my friend, it could be like he's playing a trick on me. I have to find a way to at least pay my last respect and not still be eaten by the tiger, because he know that will happen. So he came to his house. When he came to his house to pay his last respect, he stayed at the doorway. He never goes in. He was just looking at the body being laid in rest, and he started to lament of how if he was to be eaten today, that would be a demise for him by his own friend that he cares for. When the tiger heard all his lamentation, he jumped up to attack him, and the monkey was able to escape into the forest, into the tree. That's why you see the monkeys in the tree up till today, always away from the tiger, and they were never friends again. The same Odu came for the tiger. The same Odu came for Ogbe Oyeku himself when he went for divination. The owls who made divination for Ogbe Oyeku himself, when he was coming to the world, he was advised to make sacrifice with a ram to his Ifa and to take it to the world, and to take on, when he gets into the world, to take on trading. Start to trade. He did the sacrifice. On getting to the world, he developed several enemies on account of his modest sources in his business activities. Some of the enemies were actually preparing deadly plans to destroy him. He then made divination, as a result of which he was advised not to fight back at his enemy. He was told not to fight back, not to revenge anything. He was told, however, to make sacrifice with a duck to his Ifa and a goat to his. He did the sacrifice. Not long afterwards, his close associates who were once planning against him, they began to die one by one. That's why we see Ogbe Oyeku. We say Ogbe Oyeku presents death, Oyeku. When we see Oyeku, we see death there. In Ogbe Oyeku, if Ogbe Oyeku comes to somebody and Ifa says, this Odu comes into the mind of the diviner and says, oh, you have lots of enemies. Do not worry. All you have to do is give a duck to Ifa as offering, and also give a goat to Ifa. The decision is that I mean nobody any harm, but all those who are trying to drag me down, who are pulling me down, who are causing negativity in my life, for that you hand them over to Orunmila. Orunmila will push them to Ogu. Orunmila will push them to Shogo and push them to any of the deities who are like a warrior. Ifa himself will not kill anybody. Orunmila will never kill anybody. He came to fix the earth, not to destroy the earth. But all the other deities will fight on his behalf. So if somebody has lots of enemies, you're guaranteed that you'll be free from their hold when they start dropping dead one at a time. Once we make awesome. If I fight for a divine need, once you can make a ball and sacrifice. He made divination for Ogbe Oyeku against death so that he can overcome death. Ogbe Oyeku, when we do Onoifa, they write Onoifa for a person who will cast this Odu for, they will live a long time, making the right of Ogbe Oyeku is a good Odu. He is an Odu that says, oh, a person will live long, they will prosper, they might not be exceedingly rich, but they will eventually be wealthy. moderate with satisfaction. Ogbe Oyeku, mostly what Ogbe Oyeku, what we will say when we see Ogbe Oyeku is longevity. A lot. When an elderly man was leaving heaven, he went for divination on what to do to live to a ripe old age on earth. He was told by Ogbe Oyeku, Baba Amunu, Oriagbo, Oriato, to make sacrifice because he would live so long on earth that he would eat his own excreta. He was told to make sacrifice with a sheep and apple fruit. We call it also Osagbalumo in Yoruba land. He made the sacrifice. On getting to the wall, he took to farming. One day, on his way to the farm, he picked up an apple fruit, which he later ate on the farm. While eating the fruit, he accidentally swallowed one of the seeds. Later in the day, he went to the part of his farm where he excretes his latrine. And then the part of the farm where he uses when he wants to ease himself. Because on the farm, we have to dedicate some because it is forbidden to excrete just, anyhow on the farm. It is taboo to excrete on the road. It is taboo to excrete on the market. It is taboo to excrete on the farm because one who told us the farm, the market, the home, and the road were born of the same mother. The same mother gave birth to them. And and it is another audio of in Odo Ogbe Alara. We are still going to get to that audio towards the end of the list, because we are at the beginning now. Ogbe Alara talks about how the house, the farm, the market, and the house were all of the same mother. And when their mother came to visit them after a long time, only house was able to receive the mother and receive the blessings that the mother had brought. Because when the mother came to the farm, the mother could not ease herself, taboo to ease herself. When he left without easing herself and went to the market, he wanted to ease herself, she cannot, he left. When she went to the road, she cannot do the same until she got to the house. When she got to house's home, the house said, mother, you can use any of these rooms that I have. That is the beginning of people building a room in the house and use as toilet. It is the beginning, according to Ifa. As you can see, you see that Ifa, even though our people, they build a toilet outside of the house, but in Ifa, he told us that you can build a room inside the house where people can excrete. Anyways, their mother was able to excrete and ease herself inside the house, and the next day, when she had left, Orunmila went to look inside the room where the mother stayed, and the whole place was filled with money. When we see that, sometimes we will tell a divinee that if your mother wants to come and stay with you, allow her. And you build a house and have a room for your mother, because she will always bring blessings every time she comes around. Anyway, we come back to what happened when the farmer, who was told, was an elder. The elder, when the elder was coming from the spirit world, they told him to make offering. He made the offering. He told him he's going to live long. He could not comprehend. When he came to earth, he was farming, One day he ate an apple. By mistake, he swallowed the seed. He was walking on the farm and he went to excrete himself. While excreting, he excreted the apple seed. The apple seed grew and grew on his farm. When he got old and he could not go to the farm anymore, one day his children came home with a whole bunch of apple fruit, and they gave him, and he asked them, where did they get? They said, oh, on the farm where we usually had, you remember what he was told by the owls, that he's going to live long to be able to eat his own excreta. And he remembered what the owl said. And because whatever Ifa said, we always come to, no matter how long. It's up to us to keep that in mind. The taboos that Ifa tells us, we must always keep it, so that to avert sicknesses and misfortune. If you are not supposed to eat certain food, I mean, don't eat it. Do not say because of taste. You're going to be eating it. It will cause sickness. It will cause sickness. So, I hope you can see me. Okay. Now,
Benny Baba.
the Odu, yeah. The Odu Ogbeoyeku, maybe I should move outside a little more. It's getting you can still see my face
dark
now.
earlier.
It's getting dark. Yeah. It's still bright out a bit, but I'm under it rained a lot today. For the last 3 hours, it's been raining.
Wow.
It just barely stopped. And I had to travel. I traveled. I'm at my uncle's, at the King's Palace, where I am right now, because I come to see my mom, and there's no reception where she's at. So I had to travel a little bit further so that my phone can work better. Anyway, Ogbeoyeku is a very good Odu. It's an Odu of longevity. Odu that taught us that the father of brass, the father of gold and iron, and all precious metals is Obalese, who came to the earth and chose destiny of longevity by going to Ogbeoyeku for divination. Ogbeoyeku is a very good Odu. He's the king of all the Amulu. One simple little thing that I did learn a lot from this Odu is the fact that if you are chasing a mouse to somebody and they're chasing towards you a snake, that you must not avenge, you must not revenge. Which means chasing a mouse and chasing a snake in my language, in Yoruba language, is a proverb in Yoruba language. If you are watering somebody's garden and they are throwing the weeds from their garden onto your own garden, they don't wish you well. They want the weed to grow in your garden and not. Meanwhile, you are watering your garden with water so that the garden can grow. They don't want your weed to grow. That you should not revenge. Vengeance is part of what Orunmila preached on earth not to do. There's an Odu that tells us, it says, Akoda Oro Kodabe again. He said the Akoda Oro, which means once who strike last, strike harder. If you strike somebody, if they're going to strike you, they're going to strike harder than you strike them, because there has to be more. That is human psyche. Orunmila advised us against vengeance, not to avenge. If in Ifa, if you do not avenge, you just go into prayers, go to Ifa and say, this is what Ifa predict that, oh, some people are troubling you, they don't want to have rest of mind. You ask Ifa, what are the offerings? What do I need to do? Unfailingly, Ifa is going to say, give something to Eshu, give to Oluwaye. give to Shango. It's the deity of justice. Like let them give me justice. And in no time, the person will feel the wrath of what they are doing to you. I strongly say, I can say quietly that I know that many people have died because of me, because they were trying to obstruct my destiny. But I hung on to Ifa, and I know they are gone. Some are gone because of me. From the time I was like 10 years old, when I sleep, I'll be dreaming. I will be in the middle, and there will be a group of people surrounding me in a circle, close to me. One will say, oh, let us cut his throat. Another one will say, oh, let's turn his head backwards. Another one will say, oh, let us tie him upside down and let him hang there and let him die there. And I will wake up. I will be terrified in the dream, but I will wake up and I will never tell anybody. I will never tell anybody. One day, there was one of my cousins, it's my father's older brother's son, his first son. He suddenly one day he woke up and his mouth was ripped on both sides, blood coming out of it. So I remember my father and my mom and my uncles who are living with us. They sat him down and said, "What is wrong with you? Why are you like this?" And he says, "Oh, he has witchcraft, and that when he was at their gathering, their circle, that's in the spirit world, that somebody gave him a meat and asked it back, and he has been eating it and he didn't want to give it back, and then he put his hand in his mouth and pull his mouth apart and his mouth ripped. That was the day they sent him back to the village because he had witchcraft, which is a very spiritual thing. They do it, some use it for good, some use it for negative. He's not alive anymore now. He's been dead long time. And he should still be alive because he was young. It was like, he cannot be more than maybe 3 or 5 years older than me as I'm talking. So, and I had all his younger sisters and children. And as I'm quite unfortunate, he was the only son of his mother or my uncle. Right now in that lineage, there is no male. There is no male inside their lineage. It's all girls. And their father is already gone. My dad is already gone. It proves the efficacy of the fact and the deity in our tradition that they do support us, they do fight for us. I'm talking spiritually. I've been advocating that the only way for us is to really liberate ourselves spiritually. That is the only way we can win in this world. It's a world of war, of challenges, different things happening. And we cannot be in it. Although we are in it, we have to at least elevate ourselves a bit so that our spirit is not in it. Our body can be in it. If our spirit is in it, then it's going to be pushed down. But when we can elevate our spirit, we will find solutions to each and every one of those issues. Okay, they turn the power on. Sorry. I'm sorry. Power came on, they turned the power on, the generator. So now I'm in light. Sorry. I had to turn off the fan. I'm sitting in the hall. It's just a small hall where the king sits and receives his guests outside the parlor. So that way I don't disturb anyone. Nobody can hear me. I'm only sitting by myself. Because some of the things we're talking are secret. When we say secret, because I will mean secret. The old ones are secret. It's not for every ear. It's not for. That is why you will not see evangelism where we are putting it on a microphone announcing the old ones. No, only those who are called to hear it will be hearing it.
Ashe.
These are the secrets of how we are to where we can live on this earth and still enjoy it moderately without all the problems that is engulfing the world being on us. I mean, it could be around, but it will not happen to those children of Orunmila. It will not happen
Ashe.
to the children of negativity doesn't happen.
May I ask a question? When we say, I've heard about this vengeance, yeah, or like we are not supposed to have vengeance. How is that different from return to sender? Is not getting your hands dirty, you know?
It's not vengeance. You are protecting yourself. Return
Okay.
to sender. You protect yourself.
Mm.
That's number one of all medicine is to protect oneself. It's a shield. Do you know how spiritual the Star Trek? Star Trek was very spiritual. I watch all the series. I'm just a fan of Star Trek.
Okay.
To live long and prosper is spiritual. To have a shield down is spiritual. You must have the shield. You are a vessel. Your mind is inside you. Your body is inside you. It's a vessel, and that vessel must be shielded because there is missiles and different. And people are shooting it out. Spirits are shooting it out. Spirits themselves are never going to come here. They are going to use the physicality of people because the world of the spirit and the world of the human are not the same. The spirit world is another world. Earthly world is earthly world. But spirits can enter humans and manifest in the earthly world. And they are manifesting.
Yep.
And the negativity will never be ours. Back to sender is a very good thing. Okobagi, then we call it. If you throw a stone, a rock, small rock, you throw it at a tree, it's going to bounce back. Then be mindful how hard you throw. Because if it bounces back and you are close by and it hits the thrower, they're going to know that there's something. Because what they're expecting to be done to you is being happening to them, they're going to know. Those are number one of all medicine. Yonu is another one. Talking about if you're using a yonu, it will prevent negativity from happening. So the person, instead of being negative to you, they're going to have compassion. So they will never be able to manifest their negativity because they have compassion and they will let you fly. They will carry it someplace else. That's a shield. Having a shield. To answer your question, back to sender is good. It is not vengeance. Because, okay, back to sender. Vengeance means you are reacting to somebody's act towards you. But back to sender, you don't even know. You are not reacting. You already acted in your own way. And they do what they do and it bounces back on them. You don't even know it bounces back. Most quite often, back to sender, you don't know. By the time you know somebody is hurting you, you're already hurt. You will be dealing with that hurt first. You're not going to be dealing with back to sender. So back to sender is beforehand, is how it is supposed to be used. Not if you're using back to sender after they've done you something, which Orunmila frown against, then the deity is not going to fight for you then. And I always say, do not react. Act your own way. This is what I will do in this situation. But if somebody done something and then you say, oh, he's done that, so I'm going to do this, then you are reacting to they control your act then. You don't let them control your act. You say what you have to say. That is how Ifa teaches us to be humble. Humility is part of it. Baba, Ifa said, I sent you this code of conduct, 8 things that we must do, and 10 that we must not do.
Yes, I saw. Yes, I did. I saw them. Yeah.
Okay, please share it with everybody. Because
is that from
the code of ethics?
Is that from Ika Ofun?
Yeah, I think, yes.
No. Is that the code of ethics? There are many odus inside it. It's through the odus that they pull out that code of ethics. And it is the the World Council of Ifa
Where was it?
Ile-Ife. That's the body that is governing Ifa in Nigeria, worldwide. I mean, there are many other organizations, but this is number one council of Ifa that determines the Ifa Day, all different festivals in Ile-Ife, and they work with Ekiti, the Ifa group in Ekiti. So everything, so that we can unify and really have a standard that we are going by. And anybody that follows those things will surely be meeting their destiny. They surely be ethical. You know,
Yeah, you didn't send it, Baba. I saw it on the Facebook post. You posted it on Facebook.
Okay. Post. Yes,
I know I read it, but I swear I don't remember sending it to me.
I shared it from Ifa University.
Yes.
And it was shared by Ifa University and Ifa Council and Titulare, who sent it out. So I just shared it so that, because it's worth reading. After I read it, I thought, yes, this is what we need to know. We must all know this, and if we follow those principles, we will have a little more peace in our life. It might be really hard to do as being human, but we try as much as possible to do it, and then we will gain. We will gain a lot. So in Ogbe Oyeku, Ifa says, do not seek vengeance for yourself. Go to Ifa and say, this is what I'm facing. Ifa, we advise, do this, make offerings. We beg the deity, and they will take care of whoever. That is why protection is important. Protection is important. Or what is important too, or what means to honor or to respect. Or will not, because will not allow us. The needle, they have they have respect. Nobody will slap a needle. Can somebody just slap a nail? No, nobody wants to hurt themselves. If you become like a needle, then let somebody come and slap you. That's back to sender. Back to sender is being a needle, giving yourself a war, so that do not mistreat me. Do not treat me back. Just have compassion towards me, because I have compassion towards you, no matter who you are. That is how we can help sustain ourselves as African people in a world that is full of so much negativity, that everybody wants to think of you and us. And nobody can take the world with them. You're going to live on this earth, you're going to do what you can do and leave. So why not make it pleasant? Why not make it joyous? And there's so much good things on earth. But the people who are filling with negativity, just to control the minds of the people, will not share those goodness and blessings. They will be sharing the negative part of it to scare people. So if I say for us not to be afraid, no matter what, that there's nothing can never be overcome when we start towards it, knowing fully that the whole world is full of people who are there as vampires, just to take where they have not sown, where they want to reap where they have not sown, just to take what doesn't belong to them and deprive others of what we can all share. Nobody can use up all the oxygen that God has given to us, because we need it to breathe. I can only take my share of oxygen. I can only take my share of the water also. To drink, to bathe, to cook. I can only take my share. The rest will be there for others to use. And it will never finish, because it's in abundance. The abundance mentality is what Ifa teaches. Whereas scarcity is what the world is pumping in the eyes of in the mind of the people. So we must free our mind. When they say consciousness, means you have freed your mind. Some people say they are conscious, they are still being controlled by certain doctrines. Ifa does not have doctrines. Ifa does no doctrines and says, oh, you have to do it this way. Even if you don't know how to pray to your Ifa and you already received it, you keep, knowing, say, I want to pray. You learn. As long as we don't give taboo, if you give gin first and then put cola after, Ifa will still accept, because Ifa knows it's the Odu. Oturukwa Ogbe. Oturukon Ogbe. In Oturukon Ogbe, it's talking about ọlọ́gbọ́n kan kò lè takoro omi sétí aṣọ. He said no wise one can tie a droplet of water on a piece of cloth. Ọ̀mọ̀ràn kan ò lè mọyé rúpẹ́ lẹ̀. No person can have a knowledge enough to know the number of grain of sand on the ground, on the earth. Nobody agugi ò lè gugi kọjá ewé. Nobody can climb a tree beyond the leaves. These are the three awos that divine for Oyekolu. The mother of Oyekolu left Oyekolu without showing him the way of tradition. The father of Oyekolu left the earth and left Oyekolu without showing Oyekolu the way of tradition. When we put the tradition down now, Oyekolu begins to cry. He says, if it is water I'm supposed to pray with first, I don't know. If it is gin I'm supposed to put down first. If it is oil I'm supposed to put down first, I don't know. The one from the spirit world, come and accept this offering. When we make that recitation of Ifa in our prayers, Ifa accepts it totally, and your result, you will get a positive result. The same as a person who has been doing it for 200 years, because it is the principle of that offering that Ifa wants to experience from us. Because offering, the daughter of Ifa, Konumila, came to her because of that. That once you give offering, you must receive blessing. Hence, we see very prominent when I was casting, when we cast offering, we have to make sacrifices. It's not like tarot card. It's not like palm reading. It's not like gazing into the stars or looking at somebody's iris and say, oh, you are predicting their future. No. Ifa says, things are this way because of this way. And if we do this and this, we will get the result that will change things from being negative to positive. And that essence of sacrifice. So, Ifa is saying, if you don't avenge for yourself, you go to Ifa, the day Ifa will make the deity, or Orunmila will make the deity avenge you. And that way, no sin is cast onto your neck. Because we don't believe in going to hell. There's no hell in the thinkings and the studies. And I've never heard anything that said there's hell in Ifa. There's the spirit world and there is earth, two worlds. In the world, earth, we have material, our body becomes physical. And when we go back, we are all in spirit. When we say we do offering here where we feed our ancestors, after we give the ancestors a piece of the food that we eat, the rest is eaten by the people, it's eaten by the people, which means we're actually taking care of ourselves by taking care of the ancestors. When we feed Ifa, we shall go or Ogu, we give it the blood, or if it is snail, or if it is adimu, cooked food, the rest of it, we are going to eat it. So we're actually feeding ourselves by feeding the angels. That's what I believe. Yeah. And it is easily done here because there is no control as much as yours where, oh, you have to buy your chicken from grocery store that is certified by the health department. Here, we will just go into the market and pick up a live chicken. But rather than taking it home to kill it, just like that, we'll just say, okay, I'm a traditionalist. I will kill it to feed my Orisa. After I feed the Orisa, then I eat it with my people and people that are around. And then we are eating inside them, as in the Vedic culture. The food that they feed their gods is what they eat. You feed the food to the gods first, the deities first, and then you eat it. Then you are eating spiritual food, blessed food. which are actually good. Anyway, is there any question?
Yes, Baba. So when we use a rugbo and
Yes.
we take off the ends, and this is also a sort of protection, right? Of taking the heads of our
Yes.
enemies and neutralizing or incapacitating them, or so it's a sort of,
Yes.
I guess, return to sender or a check, So I just wonder why Orogbo, is it because Orogbo symbolizes long life?
Old age, long life,
Mm,
yeah.
that is why.
Orobo
Okay.
yeah. Plus, Orobo does not have any, because it doesn't split open.
Right.
And it's another way to split it open. And when even in cola, when we open the cola, there's certain part of it that we take out. As we are taking out, we are giving, because that's not to be eaten, we are giving it to it. So you should take yours.
Mm.
In Orobo, the end that we are taking off, it also symbolizes that. Because it is for the God and us, but not through the Odus. We learn. This is what the significance of what I'm taking the ends of the Orobo off for me. Through my understanding and through what the elders have said. The issue gave the deity so much difficulty because they do not recognize him. Only Orunmila recognizes him. Issue Orunmila always gives to it. So when we are taking the ends of the Orobo off, we are at least making the effort to give some, as well as avenging. Not, when I say avenging, not really a vengeance per se. If you think in the thought of, this is the head of my enemy that I'm taking off, or a person who wished me wrong, then they must not wish you wrong if they don't want negativity to happen to them. I'm just saying, it's a statement, it's an ayajo. We can use the word of mouth to free ourselves spiritually. So we use the word of our mouth to be our weapon at the same time. Not to hurt those who do not hurt us, but to hurt those who are thinking also in negative form. So it signifies that bite the head of your enemy off. They will not, they don't, if they change, they will not. If they change, then they are not your enemy and their head will not be off. If they do not change, then let Oluwaye pull their head off. Let them be faced with, let Ogun break their legs so that they can be in the hospital, feeling their pain. They have no time to think about it. It's not per se vengeance. It's about just causing your enemy. That's what. Did I answer that question? Okay.
Sorry, Benny. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Any other questions?
Always questions, Baba. I just don't want to be the only one.
No.
You can go ahead.
Shed light. We shed
Okay.
light to things. Questions shed light
Yeah.
to more things. If we have a chance to be sitting with each other, we will be answering those questions. But this is the only opportunity we have.
Yeah.
We use it.
Mhm.
Take advantage of it. Yeah. As many questions shed light to things. Go ahead with your question.
Oh, okay. So if a person is so we know there's no hell. It's a person who maybe they will come back in the next life and experience what they have inflicted on other people. So the reason that we try to live and be of Omoluabi is so that we can get what we, so that's why I think sometimes I'm like, even if a person is mean to you, or you think or you feel they don't deserve, you still behave with them with, like you said, compassion or
compassion. Yes. And And that is very common in your land too, in Canada, because people like maybe he has mental issues. Why should I? He might have that problem. You know, let me waste my time. Just let me live. But some would be like, I know a person in New York who says is the oldest tenant in this building where his great grandfather lived, and I mean uptown in Manhattan, where his great grandfather lived in the apartment, his father and mother live in the apartment. Now he's in his hand, and some people who came there later now are terrorizing them because they are from maybe this South American country or Cuba. They have access to, the understanding of people to how to use African spirituality is so different.
Mm.
Okay, the battery is low. Some people do it just to hurt others, and there are many bad things there. Paolo, they said there's some form of sex in African tradition in the diaspora that they call Paolo Mayombe, that is about dealing with the dead, and they can cast spells and they can do all different things. That one is not part of the Ifa tradition, because in the Sheshe tradition, in the Sheshe, ancestors is only one of many. When we have the ancestors, we have a local of the deity. If you do the ancestors, which is Egungun, and now you are using it for negativity.
Mm.
It's all negative things. You just allow negative to flourish in the name of African tradition, which is not. They might be using in some countries like in Congo, that's where they say it's origin from Zaire, Congo, Central Africa, which is, but not like in Yoruba land where it is
Mm-hmm.
with the Eshe tradition, where we are really trying to propagate goodness that our women like came to spread on earth, healing and enlightening people to live better, to live good, because it is on this earth that we are going to be rewarded for all the things you've done. And then when you are gone, then your end, what you left behind will not be okay also. You'll still be destroyed. So why bother? Why not live right so that you can leave good things behind when you leave? That's what we pass. People are trying to propagate. And by
Oh,
understanding the old rules and understand even how it applies to us, how we can live our life to make it more joyful. Because it be a joyful life when we're celebrating and we are doing bembe, dancing and drumming, celebrating the Orishas. Somebody is doing their annual festival, celebrating the deities, and other friends come and people come. And it's all about gathering and drumming and singing, giving offerings and sharing. It's all that good. It's all good. I believe so. Yeah. And it's very good.
So Baba, one more question. If you see, because you say the spirit, I guess the spirits or eagle or whatever, they might come through, they live in the spirit realm, but they use people who maybe are not strong to get at you,
Yes.
right? So if it's like a family member, right? Because I've experienced this. I experience this sometimes. What advice, what do you do in that situation? Because you care, like I love my family, but I don't want to deal with this energy, right?
Yeah. Well, if it's your family, through prayers, you pray to your Ori. If you don't have a father and is a family member, your father is your protector there. Praying, giving offerings to the father who is already in the spirit world, because they see everything. They cannot just interact with us physically, but we can sense them, we can feel them. We pray to the ancestors, Egungun, we pray to the deity, we pray to your Ori. Ori is number one tool to pray to overcome oppression from others, if you do it right way, I guarantee you, Ori is stronger than medicine. If people can harness it, there has to be an Ori that you are doing everything right. It's not the one where you're treating anyhow. If you treat anyhow, it will not even listen. That's what we say. Even when the deities want to support you and your Ori does not allow it, what are we going to get? We're not going to get any good result. So Ori that supports a person allows the deity to really help us. So number one is to go to your Ori and say to Ori, giving it the right of cola, gin, bitter cola, honey, salt. All of it has to be them. You have to use blood, hen, guinea fowl. Sometimes you give the goat to Ori too. If somebody is about to die, they might say, you have to pay to his Ori with a goat. That's the highest animal. Some people use guinea fowl, a hen, pizza, snail, tortoise. No, never seen a tortoise before. You give tortoise to eat, but you can use a hen and pigeon. Pigeon is the simplest, or a dove, a white dove, the simplest and easiest, really more. It brings out, you get the result quickly when you use a pigeon as the blood of.
So
cola.
if my Ifa does not take blood, right? So Ogbe Soto. So if not, then my Ori also does not take
You use snail.
snails.
Okay, Mori, your Ifa is your Okekori. Your Okekori. That is the head of a person who is an Oloku. Doesn't take blood. Oloku, the deity we don't give it blood. You can still give it the pigeon. You don't kill the pigeon, you will release it. You play
Okay.
with it, keep it in the home for a few days, 3 days, 4 days, feed it, give it water. When you do the prayers after feeding it for 3 or 4 days, you will release it to go and bring your blessings. That is what we do. Yeah.
I'll do pay. Thank you.
Okay. Our time goes. I pray that the words of Ifa that we've heard today will be useful in our life. That we continue to receive the blessings that is destined for us, that negativity will not deter our blessings. That Ifa will continue to listen, hear our prayers, and bless us accordingly. And Eshu will not throw. I always say we pray that Eshu will not throw a monkey wrench in our smooth running wheel. Because yeah. I can always do that when one do not listen to. So we listen to Ifa's messages, and then we do what the Ifa says or tell us to do, and we get the result. Till we see each other again, I pray that our going and coming will not fall into negativity. We will go safely and return home with. Because when the hand goes to the mouth, to feed the mouth, it's always returned peacefully. For more.
I don't know if you want to say bye.
Huh? Anyways, till we meet again. So long.
Odabo.
Odabo. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, you sent the oh yeah, I see you attached the post or the document.
Yeah, I copied it off Facebook and I attached it to the link. Should have it. It's long though.
Perfect.